Today I'm going to talk about why this book will make you addicted to reading. This is The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas, and it's one of the greatest books ever written. It's one of the few books that has really captivated me in a way where I just couldn't put it down. I had to just keep reading it and keep reading it. Now, if you look at it, it's a really, really big book. Like, look at how thick this book is. Hold on, I got one more novel. Look, this is a Louis L'Amour novel put next to it. You can see the difference in size. See? Here's The Count of Monte Cristo, your standard size Louis L'Amour novel. And the print is smaller in this book too. It's got smaller letters than that other novel does. So this is a really big book, but it is captivating. And if you've been struggling with reading and you need a book that is going to get you addicted to an exciting story, this is the book for you to read. The reason for that, and I didn't know this at the time, is because how it was originally written. It was originally written not as just one book, but it was written for a newspaper. So in this time period, it was common, at least in France, for you to have an author who would write a small bit of his story, and every time the newspaper was published, I don't know how often that would be, you would get a little bit of the story. It might have been daily, it might have been weekly, I have no clue. But you would get a little bit of the story, and you'd be able to read a little bit more and a little bit more. And what that means is that this book was written in a way that is really, really interesting, because most of the chapters and most of the sections of the story seem to have a smaller sub-story within them. They have like a smaller sub-story structure within each chapter of the story, which all leads up to one huge, huge novel. So whereas in a lot of books, you're going to get these large sections where the author's just waxing poetic. He's going to spend a lot of time, drawing out how this mountain looks or something random. You're just going to have this random section that's really, really boring, and you're going to be like, why is this even in the book? You're just going to read through it. It's interesting once you really start to like the book, but there's just a lot of sections in books that can just be boring. Whereas in this book, it seems to have this, attitude where it just keeps moving the story along. Like, the story does not stop. And every section of the book seems to have its own exciting little plot in it. Like, I recently read just one of the chapters in this, which I don't want to get too in-depth in, but when you read the chapter, it's basically a story within the story that then builds up the larger story, which means that instead of getting bored like you would normally in a book, this book is designed to keep you captivated. I think originally that would be so that if you bought the newspaper that one day, you'd want to buy the next newspaper and then buy the next one. So the newspaper would keep giving money to Alexander Dumas. But because of that, that means that this book is so interesting. Although it's a great classic, it's also just easy to read. It's easy just to keep turning pages, because every section of the book just keeps you on the edge of your seat. You want to know what's happening. And the way that he builds suspense in this book is excellent. And there's hardly ever any time in this book where suspense isn't being built for something, where it isn't being built for some sub-story or the wider, larger narrative. And then just the setting and the time period of this book is also excellent. I mean, this is the age of fearless passion. This is the romantic time period, and this is the age when you have, like, The Three Musketeers was also written by Alexander Dumas. This is the age of the hussar, the cavalryman, the musketeer, the gentleman who's willing to fight a duel without any fear, but experiencing the full joy and excitement of being a duelist. This is the age of the cavalryman, of the sailing man, of the man of the ocean, sailing across the ocean into these distant foreign lands of wild chaos and exploring them. This is the age of romance, right? This is the age of courting and chivalry, and it's got all of this stuff in it. This book is excellent, right? It's the age of the bold horseman. Imagine living in a world, and imagine the setting of this book. Imagine living in a world where you couldn't just hop on the internet, where you couldn't fly across the world in a plane. You can't get to the other side of the world in a day. You have to hop on a wooden ship and possibly risk storms and death to go to the other side of the world, to go to this different area. It takes you 4 months to get to the Americas. It takes you months and months to sail across down to India or Africa, right? Imagine you're living in this world. Imagine if you want to travel to your friends who lives in another town, you have to ride a horse for 3 days. This is the world that they're living in, which means the world's way bigger, and it's a lot more exciting in some sense. So the setting of this book is excellent, and it's just a romantic time period. It's a very poetic and very artistic time period. And a lot of that just culminates in this book being so exciting. It's got an exciting setting. These sub stories are very exciting. The characters are, in this book are written excellently. I mean, you'll really be interested in the characters, but it's just the way that the author builds suspense. That's really what builds up this book and just keeps you reading. If you want an exciting read that's going to keep you reading and reading and reading, The Count of Monte Cristo is the book to read. Now, it is big. I will admit that. And one of the problems that you probably have with reading is that, and this is one of the biggest problems that a lot of people have with reading, is that they have a hard time continuing to read the book. They'll read a little bit and then they'll get bored. But that's why this book is so important. Because in our modern day, we're addicted to, watching easy stuff. Like you can watch shorts on your phone, and that's really, really addicting. And that's a really easy way to entertain yourself. But the problem is, watching shorts isn't going to give you the mind or the poetic spirit that you want. It's not going to give you the same kind of deep understanding that reading a book like this is. But it's really hard to read a book like this when you have a form of entertainment as easy as scrolling on your phone. So that's why I'm going to recommend this book. This book might be a way to cure that problem where you're addicted to scrolling on your phone and you just can't seem to have the energy to pick up a book and keep reading. I promise you, if you start reading this book, like pick up this book and just promise that you're at least going to read a chapter a day, and you will get addicted to it. Like just try to read a chapter a day, or not even a chapter a day, right? Whatever you can do, just set a certain amount that you can read this book and do it for 2 weeks. If you aren't interested in the book in 2 weeks, set it down. It wasn't for you. But I bet you, a lot of you, if you try that for 2 weeks, you will be addicted to this book. You will not be able to put this book down because it's just that good. And it's not even about that it's just so good. There's a lot of great books that don't captivate you in the same way. They're not page turners. You can have a great philosophical work that's also in a lot of ways very slow and nuanced, but it still builds up a great story. It takes very mature reading to be able to read a book like that, but it can still be a great book. But a book like this will keep you reading. So this would be my ultimate recommendation. If you're having a hard time reading books, or you just want to get addicted to reading a book, or you just want a book that you can just keep turning the pages on, this is the book for you, The Count of Monte Cristo. So thank you for watching. If you like this video, you can tell me in the comments, put a thumbs up, whatever you want to do, or just don't. I don't really care. But if you like this video, I do appreciate hearing from people who like the video. Tell me what you thought about it. Tell me what you think I could improve. You can tell me if you've ever read this book. Do you like this book? How did you feel about it? So, anyways, have a good day. Bye.